comes to race, are you colorblind? A group of us got together to explore that word, and here's what we found. Question 1. How does the word colorblind make you feel?
Invisible.
So the word colorblind, at first, when I see the word, I see the good intention of wanting to include people of different colors, but then just like a second later, I kind of realized that that's terminology also reflects a sign of privilege.
I would really use the term for myself as having color cataracts. Because I see color, but I see it in a way that's blurry. I have two friends who are, from what I see, their skin color is very similar. One friend says she's black, one friend says she's brown. And so in my cataract eyes, I see the same color, and so they identify differently just from a color standpoint, yet their experience as a Black person is vastly different.
I would say confused. When my kids were going to school, there were maybe upwards of 50 nationalities in the school, and they would say, "Oh, my friend." And so they were essentially, I guess, colorblind, but they weren't blind to the differences. They just valued them in a different way.
What it meant for me was that while you were well-meaning and saying that you were accepting of people different from you, great, right? And you don't see color because you don't want to discriminate against anyone. You want to be open, right? So all of those things are assumed when people say that. However, the way it landed for me and the way that I was able to express it last year was that, yes, you may be open, but what you're not open to understanding and increasing your awareness about is, how does my experience differ from yours?
Color is unbelievably beautiful, and we should be open to all different color experiences and putting those colors together in all kinds of creative ways, because every single color goes together.
Question 2. How does the word colorblind impact or limit you?
Because for one to say that they don't see color or that they're colorblind means that they're turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to racism. They're burying their head in the sand. And by saying that, I'm colorblind or I don't see color and all lives matter, ignores the fact that racism exists.
It also makes me worried, because I think if we can't even admit that we see color, then we're a long way from equality and kind of an end to systemic racism.
It then puts you in this place of feeling like you're the only one and that you have to assimilate to the environment instead of being able to show up authentically and uniquely as who you are, and just not feeling like you need to fit in, but just being present. And so whether it's on a leadership team, whether it's you're the only woman or Black woman in a space or whatever, it's that feeling of vulnerability that if you internalize, it limits how you show up. And then the flip side of that is, depending on what other people think, they limit you.
When we're colorblind, then that gives us the opportunity to ignore things that we should be paying attention to. If we're colorblind, we might not see the red light warning of danger. If we're colorblind, we might not notice that people of color are not in the room when they should be.
And so that's why I feel sad when someone says, I don't see color, because I think it's dismissive to people of color.
Question 3. Where do you hear the word colorblind being used?
For me, unfortunately, it's often used by people who tend to be more liberal leaning. It's almost like my card. It's like I'm colorblind. I don't see color. Using the word doesn't give you a pass.
The struggle for white people trying to come to terms with this kind of stuff is that we have been trained our whole lives not to see our whiteness.
If you're focusing on solely color would marginalize the person. Not focusing at all on their color marginalizes your experience.
But I often felt like I was representing my people. Whereas in talking to my Caucasian friends, they didn't feel they were representing themselves, not every, person there is.
With the executive leadership team, they did these, not a survey, some type of test to determine where you were in terms of bias or whatever. And it was very interesting. I got to hear some people were very honest and actually said that it revealed that they had work to do.
Question 4. What's a better way?
Then there was a link to a woman who did a TED Talk, and she said, don't be color blind, be color brave. And I love that because it's really about embracing everyone and the diversity, not being blind to it, but actually seeing people and being color brave. So I loved that.
It's good to have the space and how we involved in this discussion, with an open mind, not so defensive.
So be willing to lean in and learn and hear about the lived experience, as opposed to when you say, I treat everyone, which it implies that I know the answer. So lean in.
Approach with curiosity without judgment, where I can say, regardless of where I'm coming from, and I may be coming from a place where I haven't had as much exposure to people of other races and other ethnicities, and that's okay. Regardless of where I'm coming from, I can approach life and I can approach community from a place of curiosity.
I still don't really know exactly what the better way is, but I know you have to reach outside of your comfort zone. You have to reach outside of the groups you know. You have to tap into someone of color, someone of a gender that is not yours, to understand who are the groups you go to. What groups should I tap into? How do I broaden our horizon in terms of who we are bringing into the fold?
Wouldn't it be great if we could celebrate all differences?
Wouldn't it be great if we rather acknowledged the experiences that Black and brown people have to go through in our society? Wouldn't it be great if we rather acknowledged that racism exists and is embedded in our practices and in our thinking?
As lean practitioners, we should see everything and we should talk about everything. And when we're not being colorblind, we're going to see a lot more.
What's a better way is to say, yeah, I see color and I recognize my own bias.
And to notice every day the role that race plays in our lives and the harm that it causes. And then to use this noticing to motivate and drive our anti-racism efforts.
Treat people how they would wish to be treated.
How does this video make you think and feel? What are you going to do in response to this video? Download a list of ways you can help create a better world.